Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob, and this is the Age of Sigmar Stat Center, where we're going to look at the event results from the weekend. We're going to look at the upcoming trends and the interesting lists that are taking part and being represented in competitive Age of Sigmar. Now, we normally only look at two-day events, or GTs. We look at two-day events and we look at the event results. And this weekend, it's been a pretty busy weekend, which is cool, with 280 players battling it out. But not all of those 280 players have been playing in singles events. Now, we have traditionally not really focused on team events, even though I think Team Warhammer is more complicated to organize, but is really, really fun and feels like pretty much the pinnacle of what really wargaming can be sometimes. It solves a lot of problems that you have with like metas and other stuff. So we will be covering for the first time and going forward be covering all of the team events that also happen around the world, because sometimes there are some absolutely huge team events and they're worth talking about, which is fun. So that'll be the events that we also have added into the Stat Center, just to make the Stat Center better every single week. Now, if you are excited about the TSN rankings, which are done by Warhammer Rob, don't forget that they won't be updated until the end of the month. Those are the rankings where we can see who the best club in the world is, who's the best in each faction, like who the best Beast of Chaos player is, or who the best Kharadron Overlords player is. And also, we'll be covering who is doing the best in their region, like who the best player in Norway is, as an example. So those stats will get updated at the end of the month, but you can find them all on thehonestwargamer.com. So the first event that we're going to look at today is a team event. In fact, it's our largest event over the weekend, taking place in the USA. And it was called the Nashville Teams 2025. That obviously takes place in Nashville. And it runs every single year. So do check out and follow the BCP link for more information on how to find out about next year's. And this event is called Thricefold Befoulment. And I think so far this is their biggest team event, which is very fun to see, with 90 players over 16 teams with 5 players in each team. Now, we're going to look at the top team and what armies they were running, but I'll use that as an opportunity to talk about the team format. So if we take a look at the team at the event, you can see it was run by Jacob Berry. Shout out to Jacob, with 16 teams taking part with 5 players in each team. It's being held here at the Nashville Hyatt, which is a big old hotel, which is cool because a lot of the US events, in a quite fun way, what they do is they obviously have the event in a hotel, so you can also stay in the hotel at the same time, which is pretty clever. A lot of people are probably going to ask, or many of you might be asking, how team format events work. And if you are one of those people, and I haven't explained it well enough by the end of the next couple of sentences, then do in the comments below, leave some questions and I'll try and answer them for you. But the way team formats normally work are you have a number of players in the team, in this case 5, and each player in the team will only be able to bring the team will only be able to bring one army per team. So one instance of an army per team. So you can only have one Nurgle army out of the 5 players, pretty much. You can only have one Stormcast army out of the 5 players. This creates a really interesting kind of meta where what you're trying to do is you're trying to develop like a 5-person team that's got like the right format. It's kind of like, like a Pokemon loadout, or I mean, I could just use wargaming terms, but it's like picking your 5 best, but sometimes it's not the best. Maybe the best one has got the best army in the game, maybe has a really good counter meta build, and so you pick that, which is so you pick that to try and beat that. And the way you work out who plays each other, you normally have this thing called a pairings process, which is a little bit complicated, but you put some cards in, they put some cards in, and then you choose, the defender choose which of the attackers they're going to play against. You do this a couple of times until everyone has a table. Super simple. That way, you've got this really interesting kind of like meta game. Everyone's doing some interesting stuff, and sometimes the lists are a little bit more wacky. And that's the thing I really wanted to stress when we do start looking at team events in the future. Lists can be what we see, can be a little bit more wacky because they're not going to play against potentially any army in the game like you would at a normal event. And instead, you manipulate the pairings so that that army is only going to play against certain other armies, right? That's an important factor because you're bringing an army as like a tool specifically to play against other armies. And so you won't normally put it into bad matchups or what's called red matchups. So that way, sometimes the reason I've not covered team events before, because I feel like I always have to make this kind of justification before it, you've got to be pretty serious. You've got to be pretty serious about like making sure that you don't think, oh, that's the best version of the list because it's used in a very specific format. However, obviously, being a serious team event, we go to look at the placings. So we can see in first place, the team French or Gay won the event. They went undefeated in the final, beating the Narrative Play Experience, MPE. And also another team that went 4-1 is Fuck Around and Find Roush, after a friend of the show, Swaggy Shadow Sword. So this is pretty fun. So we are going to look through the lists for French or Gay. So the members of French or Gay won't be like names you're unfamiliar with, because they're super successful gamers all in their own right. You got Dylan Thoreau with Beast of Chaos. Fabien Barbusse was running Disciples of Tzeentch. Jeremy Vissier was running Fire Slayers, and Jeremy Lefebvre was running Cities of Sigmar, fresh off the LVO win, I'm pretty certain. And then Tom Ling was running Flesh Eat Courts. Okay, and the name speaks for itself. Anyway, so Dylan Thoreau was running Beast of Chaos, and he was running a Great Bray Shaman in the Marauding Bray Herd battle formation with 3 lots of 20 Bestigor, 6 Bulgor, 10 Ungor, the Herd Stone. So cool. Pretty much what we've seen before. And normally you won't see some surprising lists, but maybe you will. Fabien Barbusse was running Disciples of Tzeentch in the Weird Flame host with Kairos Fateweaver, 6 Flamers of Tzeentch, 20 Blue Horrors, 2 lots of 10 Pink Horrors, Lord of Change, and then a Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch, 3 Screamers of Tzeentch, and 3 Screamers of Tzeentch. I'm assuming the Screamers being quite fast, nice battle tactic units. The Spawn, obviously super helpful for the Law of Change spell lore. Taking the Morbid Conjuration manifestations as well, and Kairos obviously for the tactics, and then the Horrors for holding some primaries with the pinks. So that's fun to see. Jeremy Vissier was running Fire Slayers with the Forge Brethren. He had an Auric Runefather, a Battlesmith, 2 lots of 10 Hearthguard Berserkers Broadaxes, an Auric Runemaster, 3 units of Vulcan Flameseekers, Grimhold Exile, 10 Auric Hearthguard, and then 2 units of 9 Vulcan Flameseekers. That takes us up to 5 units of Vulcan Flameseekers, which is that Warcry Warband in that list. Then you got Jeremy Lefebvre running Cities of Sigmar in the Ironwell Guild army with Callus and Toll, a Sorceress, 20 Dark Shards, 10 Drakespawn Knights, 5 Dark Riders, then a Rune Lord with 20 Hammerers, an Assassin, then Galian Vendenced with Doralia Vendenced, and then a Free Guild Command Corps, all with Forbidden Power as a manifestation law, and then the spells, like the normal spell law. And then is there one more? Yes, and Tom Ling was running his Fresh Eater Courts with the Lords of the Manor battle formation with Aetherwrought Machineries, Ushran, more Beg Knights, more Big Knights, more Beg Knights, and some more Morbin Knights. 3 of those units are reinforced, 1 isn't. Another unreinforced unit of Morbeg Knights, taking us up to a grand total of 24 Morbeg Knights, and a Borant Cardinal, and a Vorgulf Courtier. So it's interesting because the lists themselves are part of like normally a grander strategy. You've got Jeremy, who is one of the players in this team, has been captain for Team America for several years and has participated in many team events. So the ability to understand who they put in and what they're trying to play against is always fascinating. And also very, I don't want to say convoluted, but a little bit more than I feel like I could really explain to any particular degree that would be worth talking about or listening to. But they've got some big hammer armies here. Bestigor, obviously great for what they do. Tzeentch, excellent for just making sure they score points. The interesting thing with the Tzeentch list is it scores points even if it doesn't lose. That's the interesting thing about, even if it doesn't win. That's the interesting thing about team format. The team format is not necessarily about winning games. It's about losing sometimes by the least possible because of the differential system. When I play you and you get 0 points and I get all the points, that'll be 20-0. But if our points are really close, it'll be an 11-9 to the victor. So what you sometimes want to do is be like, okay, what army can I put in that even against the toughest enemy army, I'm always going to be able to get quite a lot of points out of? Tzeentch feels like a really good one in that situation. Kairos helps you do a lot of tactics. You can repeat tactics. Horrors are really good for just holding the board. Feels like a really strong army for doing something similar. Fire Slayers, really good board presence and being around there. That's an ace. This Cities of Sigmar, as we know, list was able to just go take out the LVO. So lots of opportunity to put this into a bunch of different lists. And also many people don't know how it works. And then Flesh Eater Courts, just so solid with their recursion and hitting. So I hope everyone had a really fun time at the Nashville event. I know Jacob puts on a brilliant time. And if you do get the opportunity to go team events in the future, I hope you do, because they're super fun. Our next event, takes us to Canada with 59 players battling it out for Cake or Death 2025. One of the unique things about this event, organized by Dale Johnson, shout out to Dale for being a great TO, is that they have a best cake competition, as you can see from Dale's Blue Sky post here. And the event was, the cake part of the event was won by Karen Flores. There you go. You can see with an amazing squig-based cake, which sounds excellent. So lovely to see that. If we start talking about the gaming results, we can see that we got 2 5-0s, one from Matthias Crucial of Warp Dice with his Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and one from John Zoshak from Dimensional Cascade with their Seraphon. So if we take a moment to look, we can see the Matthias list, 1 CAD, 0.7 USD drops, that's the name of it, by the way, was a Kavalos Lance with the Manifestation or the Horrors of the Necropolis. He had Arcan the Black, Arch Kavalos Xantos, a unit of Death Riders, another unit of Death Riders, both reinforced, and then a reinforced unit of Morghast Harbingers. So, I mean, that's a lot of armor saves and a lot of health that's very elite in a singular drop, but not a lot else. Like very singular, big, impactful units, which is very interesting to see, very difficult to get through, very fun, and probably pretty overwhelming if you're on the side of it. John Zoshak was running a list called Croak Vibrates, which was a Seraphon list with a Sunclaw Star Host with a Manifestation or Morbid Conjuration. With Croak, reinforced unit of Agrodon Lancers, 3 units of Saurus Warriors, a Sking Starseer, but still on with the Arc Sotek, Hunters of Haunt You with Starstone Bowlers, and a small unit of Raptidon Chargers. So it's nice to see. I caught, like, literally when the battle scroll changed Croak, I said all you would see is Croak from now on. We did. It's had a massive uptick for Seraphon armies in their performance, but specifically only Croak builds are doing really well all around the world. So shout out to John as well. Then the Ossiarch Bone Reapers in their kind of elite format are still just doing excellently, with Matthias being an excellent player. So well done to Matthias, and I hope you all had fun. Let's go look at the 4-1s. Okay, if we take a look at the 4-1s, we can see that Taylor Guggen was able to run a Slaves to Darkness list from the Godswrath Warband, running Forbidden Power with Be'lakor, a unit of Dark Earth Fell Riders, a Raptrix, reinforced unit of Varangard, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, and a reinforced unit of Chaos Chosen with a Dread Banner. Again, it's interesting to see these Slaves to Darkness lists only in the 4-1 section. I would have thought we'd seen a few more 5-0s. Be interesting to hear from the players what's really brought them down. Maybe it's not being allowed that one extra unit for scoring battle tactics. Carson Whitlock also running a Slaves to Darkness list with the Godswrath Warband, running a list called A Young, Dumb, and Full of Crumbs. Has a Manifestation or Forbidden Power with Be'lakor, Chaos Chosen with a Dread Banner, Chaos Knights, a reinforced unit of Chaos Chosen, Chaos Lord, and a reinforced unit of Varangard in here as well. So Varangard and Chosen still on the list, Be'lakor still on the list, but not necessarily hitting the 5-0s. And Carson's an amazing player. I got Joseph Tassi with a list. Oh no, this year has got to go. Running a Seraphon list with a Sunclaw Star Host with a Manifestation or Forbidden Power. Here's a Saurus Scarvet, a reinforced unit of Agrodon Lancers twice, making up 12 Agrodon Lancers, a Saurus Warrior unit, a Skink Starseer, Croxigor, a reinforced unit of those, and Raptidon Chargers. So eschewing the idea of running Croak and instead just going for all of the big hammer units with a lot of health on the board there is very interesting as a choice. So well done to Joseph. Crystal Moy is running another Seraphon list called Seraphon Croak Sunclaw. Sunclaw Star Host with Morbid Conjuration. He's got Lord Croak, reinforced unit of Agrodon Lancers, a Bastillon with Arc Sotek, and a Croxigor. A Skink Starseer, a Hunter Haunt You with Starstone Bowlers, Raptidon Chargers, and Terror Wings. So interesting, not going for like the double Hunter Haunt You in there. Raptidon Chargers for like some small screening maybe. 140 points for a screen could be okay. But the big Croxigor and the Agrodon Lancers still supporting Croak. Then you got Matt Beasley with a list called This Is Fine, running a Tzeentch list from the Weird Flame host. His manifestation law was the manifestations of Tzeentch. He had a Lord of Change, a Change Caster, Chaos Spawner Tzeentch, Reinforced Unit of Pink Horrors, Zangor Enlightened on Disca Tzeentch, Blue Horrors and Brimstone Horrors, Blue Horrors and Brimstone Horrors twice, and then Pink Horrors as well. So it looks like Tzeentch might be making a little bit of a comeback. Matt has been playing them for a long time. He's a big fan, so that's nice to see. And then we've got Michael Sleman running a list called Truckin', which is a Ogre Mortrized Beast Handlers list with the manifestation of the Cronspine Incarnate, with a Frostlord and Stonehorn, a Huskard and Stonehorn, a Frostlord and Stonehorn, a Unit of Frost Sabers, and a Huskard and Stonehorn, a Huskard and Stonehorn, and a Huskard on Stonehorn. And the fifth regiment is a Butcher. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 monsters, no Kragnos in this version of the list, all running forward doing a ton of mortal damage. Carl LaRue is running a list called She and Him, a Sappy Affair, which is a Sylvaneth list called the Lords of the Clan, with Alariel, a reinforced unit of Kurnoth Hunters with Great Bows, Belthanos, Gossamed Archers, Spite Rider Lancers, and then a Tree Lord Ancient with a Warsinger and Cedar Rebirth, which is pretty wild to see that in the list. That doesn't normally make it in there, so that's very cool. Normally, Belthanos and obviously Alariel tag team and everything is great. Bo's sitting in the backfield just doing some shooting. Very cool. Then Jeremy Lemoy was running a Sentinels of Bleak Citadels list, the manifestation or the Cronspine Incarnate. He's got a Celestin Prime, a unit of Aether Wings, Lord Terminos with a Quicksilver Draft, Vanguard Raptors Longstrike Crossbows, and then Lord Relictor, the reinforced unit of Prosecutors, reinforced unit of Reclusians, a unit of Vigilers, a Knight Arcanum, and a unit of Griffhounds. So Stormcast popping up for the first time this week. It's great to see them on the board, especially with this new Celestin Prime. We saw that last week as well, a little cheeky Celestin Prime seeing play. Anyway, shout out to Dale for running what seems to be a great event, and I hope everyone had a really great time, especially a big shout out to the Canadian scene. They're all brilliant, so nice to see you getting another one in there. Our next event takes us over to sunny England for an event being held at the Bristol Independent Gaming Shop, or BIG, as it's also known. Shout out to that event. We've got some lovely pictures as well from the event. Here you can see absolute cuties having a great time over there. So we had 49 players attending this event, and our 5-0 is Matt Gouldsborough. He was running a list called For Frodo, Look to My Coming on the Light of the Fifth Day, a Disciples of Tzeentch list in the Weird Flame host. His manifestation law was the manifestation of Tzeentch with Karis Fateweaver, a reinforced unit of Disc of Tzeentch, reinforced unit of, 2 units of Enlightened, on Disc of Tzeentch, and then a unit of Skyfires. So we're looking at 12, 18, like very fast models moving around the board. Fateweaver, Magister on Disc of Tzeentch, Carrick Acolytes, and Zangor Skyfires. So Tzeentch, it seems, might well be back. They were doing super well kind of around September, October time last year, with their win rate being so aggressive that they needed to be nerfed a little bit. But maybe people are saying that they've got the opportunity to get back on those tables, which is very cool to see. Looking at the 4-1s, we're going to go through and see quite a few interesting lists. Shout out to David Towsey. He's also an award-winning author. David Towsey books available on your Amazon apps, and you would be able to get a book by author David Towsey, and also supporting a member of your Age Sigmar community if you picked one up on Audible or something. So definitely worth doing. However, he is clearly tired from writing a lot of books. He's been playing Sons of Behemoth with a list called Bigs in Japan, with a Breaker Tribe battle formation with Brod, Warstomper, Mega Gargant, 2 Gatebreakers. No idea how he won with that. I assume just push it in the middle. Then we've got Ben Self with a Skaven list with a Warp Call Convocation and Morbid Conjuration. He had Thanquol on Bone Ripper, 2 lots of Clan Rats, some Doom Flayers that were reinforced, Rattling Guns that were reinforced, Vermlord Deceiver, Clan Rats, and Night Runners. I gotta say, the Skaven list or roster has to be maybe one of my favorite lists at the moment. If you look at this, you've got a pretty good caster with Thanquol, who's kind of okay in combat, not great. You've got Screens in Clan Rats, one of the few armies that are able actually to do it, and also their units that heal D3 at the end of turns, and if a unit dies, you can bring a unit back at half strength, which is great for Screens. Doomflayers, which is super interesting piece. for combat. You got Rattling Guns, which obviously bring a lot of fire support. The Verminlord Deceivers are legitimately difficult monster to deal with because of all the teleporting. Night Runners for pre-game screening, and Clan Rats again for another screen and holding objectives. It's a genuinely fascinating army at the moment that's got like a lot of constituent parts that actually work really well and isn't quite so one note as some of the other armies. Genuinely a very good army at the moment. Got Alex Edwards with a Sylvaneth list called Alariel, with a battle formation Outcasts and the Manifestation Law Morbid Conjuration. With Alariel, Kurnoth Hunters with Great Size, a Spirit of Durthu, Gossamer Archers, a Branch Witch, Belthanos in the list. So pretty simple. Just Durthu, Belthanos, Alariel, and the Kurnoth Hunters. So you've got 4 major combat threats and some Gossamer Archers and a Branch Witch to try and grab an objective. Got Carl Brewster, Cutie Pie, with Be'lakor and his Demon Friends romantic getaway list, running a Legion of the First Prince list. This is another AOR army that's doing really well. Be'lakor, 2 lots of 20 Bloodletters, 10 Plague Bearers, then a Centurion Marshal, and then 6 Flamers of Tzeentch, 6 Chaos Furies, and 6 Legion Screamers of Tzeentch as well. All with the Legion of the First Prince spell law, which is really showcasing just the powerhouse that Be'lakor is to bring a bunch of units that don't necessarily work super well on the table and don't really see tons of play. Maybe Bloodletters see a lot of play in Khorne, but everything else really doesn't see much play. Maybe the Flamers. But doesn't see a lot of play. And then obviously is all seeing play here. So shout out to Carl. That's amazing. Aaron Boyhan was running an Uruk Warclans list. And he was running the Zogrok's Ironmonger's Army of Renown. Now, this is the one that you can get a bunch of Ard Boys with 5-up ward saves, which is good. Manifestation Law, Forbidden Power. And then he's got Zogrok's Anvil Smasher, a reinforced unit of Ard Boys, a Weird Knob Shaman, a reinforced unit of Ard Boys, a smaller unit of Ard Boys, a Mega Boss, an Ard Boy Big Boss, and another smaller unit of Ard Boys. And then his last regiment is another Ard Boy Big Boss, and then another smaller unit of Ard Boys. So while within 12 inches of another unit of Ard Boys, you're going to get a 5-up ward save on 3-up armor save, high health units, with Zogrok being able to bring additional mortal damage, Ard Boys being able to make it so your shield blasts do more damage. I shouted this out when we talked about the battle formation and when I did the Uruk Warclans review, and I was like, this is a list. You've got to go through the pain of painting up. I think we're looking at 60 Ard Boys here. But once you do, you're in a good spot, and this is going to be difficult to deal with. Then you got Rich Nutter was running a list called Double Dragons, which is a Stormcast Terminals list with a Lightning Echelon and Morbid Conjuration. He had Karazai, small unit of Praetors, and obviously Long Strikes. Then Lord Celestial and Stardrake, Knight Arcanum, Quest of Sworn of Vigilers. The classic Double Dragon at this stage. The Stardrake is excellent, obviously, can eat good stuff, and Karazai is also really good. These are arguably this is a great list. And then Dan Sidders was running a list called These Are Not the Chickens You Were Expecting, which was a Stormcast Eternals list of the Lightning Echelon with Lord Celestial and Dracoth, some Dracothian Guard Concussors, some Stormdrake Guard, Knight Arcanum, Quest of Sworn, Storm Covenant, Stormstrike Paladins. Don't forget Stormdrake Guard, very hot right now because of the update to the special abilities that you can give to one of your Honor Guard units at the start of the game. Anyway, big Bristol Bash. I hope everyone had an amazing time. Special shout out to Jonathan Hale for running it. Congratulations to you. Hope it was great. There'll be another one yet next year, I'm almost certain. So do go to the events if you get the opportunity to. Loads of love. Our next event takes us to Australia for the Southern Smash GT, taking place in this beautiful hotel, the Marion, I think it's in Adelaide, is where our event is taking place, which is cool, and organised by, does it say who's organised it? I'd be mad if I can't. Maybe Mark organised it. Shout out to Mark. Anyway, we had 28 players battling it out to be the champs, and we had no 5-0s, but we did have a 4-1 by Adam Williamson with his Sons of Behemoth of the Taker tribe, with this called It's Going Down, I'm Yelling Timber. He's got King Broad, a Beast Smasher Mega Gargan, and then a Kraken Eater and a Gatebreaker in his list. So very cool. How did he do it? Great question. Then another 4-1, we got Matthew Slattery with Flesh Eater Courts, Lords of the Manor. Manifestation Law is Primal Energy. He's got Usharan, a unit of Crypt Flares, another reinforced unit of Crypt Flares, a Courtier, unit Morbeg Knights, an Abhorrent Cardinal, 2 models of Crypt players, Crypt Ghouls, and then an Infernal core tier as well. So not quite all Morbeg Knights, but that recursion, obviously really effective on multi-wound models, even on Crypt players. Then you got Leo Jensen, also in the 4-1, with a God's Wrath Warband Saves the Darkness list running Kronsmile Incarnate. He has Be'lakor, Chaos Chosen reinforced, and then a Chaos Lord, and then a Chaos Lord and Karkadrak, 2 units of Chaos Knights and a unit of Chaos Warriors. Interesting to see the Chaos Knights now coming in, definitely in a kind of like pinning role, very difficult to get rid of, a lot of health, a lot of wounds, good armor save. Same for the Chaos Warriors, good for primary objective grabbing for sure. Then you got Will Walters with Maggotkin of Nurgle. He's running the Taliban of Nurgle and the Kronsmile Incarnate. It's got Rotigus, Plague Bearers, Morbid X Twiceborn, Lord of Plagues, Putrid Blight Kings, Rotmire Creed, Horticulate Slimix. It's got 10 Blight Kings in there, then Blobe as well. So going for the big monsters in this version of the list, which is very interesting to see. Not going for spam Blight Kings, and instead going for more of the demons. But that 5-up ward save going to become pretty important. We're definitely looking at a DPT check meta. And then we've got Luke Doman with Lumineth Realm Lords, who is running an Alarith Temple, really backing up my point, with a Lord Regent, a reinforced unit of Dawn Riders, a Light of Altharion, 2 Spirits of the Mountain, and then the Regiment of Renown, Valnir's Stormwing, with a Knight Draconis and a single Stormdrake Guard, which is an absolutely crazy pick. That's very interesting to see in here. The 2 Double Spirit of the Mountain, also excellent as well. Very difficult to manage all of those high armor save health pools. Very cool. Very, very fun. So I hope everyone had a good time there. Our next event takes us to Spain for the Portal Invernal 2025. This event is located in Galicia. I've definitely said that wrong. At the Bandu Wargames little gaming venue. You can see just inside here, there's like a little bit of a TARDIS because as you get inside, it looks super cool, which is really fun to see. Right, so there's 26 players battling out to be the champs. The event was organized by Evo Molosian. And if we look at the placings, we can see that they've only got 150 from Jota DJ with Flesh-Eater Courts, running a list called Batman Yota. Definitely said that wrong. Lords of the Mana Battle Formation and Manifestation of the Aetheront Machineries, with Usharan, a reinforced unit of Crypt Horrors, a Mara Scroll Herald, and a reinforced unit of Morbeg Knights. Then an Abhorrent Art Region and a reinforced unit of Morbeg Knights. And this will shock you. More Morbeg Knights. So double Morbeg Knights. Begging the question, why are they so good? Which we should cover in another video. So very cool to see. Shout out to Yota. Then we got some 4-1s. We have a Slaves to Darkness list run by Fran Marcos, running the God's Wrath Warband, Forbidden Power, Be'lakor, Chaos Chosen again, Gaunt Summoner, Chaos Furies, and Raptorix. Chaos Chosen still super good, obviously, but they're not in that kind of crazy always 5-0 section, which I thought maybe they would be. Feel like they might be gatekeepers. Then we got Sergio Pandero Perez running a Lords of the Mana list with the Manifested Insanity, Manifestation Law, with Usharan, Mara Scroll Herald, 1, 2, 3 reinforced unit of Morbeg Knights, and a Baron Cardinal, smaller unit of Morbeg Knights, and 2 units of Royal Beast Flayers. Then you've got another Slaves to Darkness list run by Aitor Benito with a list called Be'lakor, God's Wrath Warband, and Forbidden Power. He has Be'lakor, a unit of Chaos Chosen, Chaos Knights, Chaos Lord, Varangard reinforced as well. So you got the 1-drop with reinforced Chaos Chosen, reinforced Varangard, Chaos Lord, and Chaos Knights in this list, but still only hitting the 4-1. And then you've got Sergio Acabelts running Sons of Behemoth. Oh no, I think they're back. I think they're back with Manifestation of Primal Energy, Take a Tribe with a Kraken Eater, a Beast Smasher, a Man Crusher, a Gatebreaker, and triple Little Man Crushers in the list. So anyway, I hope everyone had a fantastic time at the event. Loads of love. It looks super cool. The game store looks really awesome. Nice to see Morbeg Knights doing really well. But if we're doing a recap for a moment, Sons of Behemoth, I think are back. Our next event takes us to the Netherlands. Takes us to the Netherlands for the Threshold Invitational 7, organized by the beautiful and tall and majestic Tom Medgens. And this was 18 players taking part and was being held here at the sports hall that it was held at last time. This is where they hold it every time. It seems like a great venue and everyone seems really happy. Okay, so if we look at the event results, with 4 in a draw, our top player was Matt Davies with Beast of Chaos with a Great Brave Shaman, a unit of Centaurs, a Razorgore, 20 Bestigore, and then a Great Brave Shaman, a Razorgore, and 2 lots more of 20 Bestigore. So I think the change that we've seen from the regular 80 Bestigore is the addition of a Razorgore, doing some battle tactics, and some Centaur, which are pretty spicy. They can do quite a lot of damage on the charge. Shout out to Matt. They got Peter Zudgeist running a safe startness list with a God's Wrath Warband and Forbidden Power. There's Chaos Sorcerer Lord, Chaos Chariot, Reinforced Unit, Chaos Chosen, 2 units of Chaos Warriors, a Gaunt Summoner, a Chaos Chariot, a Chaos Chosen unit Reinforced, and Chaos Legionnaires. So when you move away from having Be'lakor, you lose a lot of utility, but you get a lot more bodies on the board with high armor saves that are very difficult to deal with. And you still got 2 units of Chaos Chosen and some good magic from the Gaunt Summoner. So that's a very cool list. I like that. Nico van der Den Hoek was running a Seeker Cavalcade Hedonites of Slaanesh list with Shalaxi, 20 Bliss Barbs, 10 Slick Blades, 10 more Slick Blades, 3 Fiends, the Mask, 5 Seekers, and the Fane of Slaanesh. So very exciting to see Shalaxi in there. That's very interesting. The Slick Blade Seekers in 2 10s as well is, I guess, 2 hammer units. Very fast army that could do a lot of damage, but very fragile. It's very cool to see. Then Tristan Pathon-Hulse was running a Stormcast Eternals list with the Sentinels of Bleak Citadels, with Krondys, 5 Vigilers, 6 Vanguards with Star Strikes, 6 Vanguard with Long Strikes, 6 Prosecutors, a Knight Incanter for a 2-drop army in here. I think I've got that right. Yes. Which is very interesting. So 3 big hammer units again, really, with the Vanguard Paladors, Krondys, and that unit of long strike crossbows. Hope everyone had a great time. Those invitational events seem super cool. Let's go over to our last event in England. Our last event takes us to England for the Partisan Games AOS GT, but unfortunately, Carlton, who won the event, who's also the TO, didn't submit his list, so we weren't able to check that out, which is a little bit upsetting. However, Harry Hoare, with his Fresh Eater Courts, was able to submit his list. Congratulations to him. And he was running a Supreme Lord of Undeath, Nagash, Royal Zombie Dragon, a Borrant Ghoul King, 2 units of Morbeg Knights, the Royal Zombie Dragon. And I got to say, it's one of my favorite lists in Age of Sigmar so far at the moment is Nagash. I like Nagash Usharan. I think that's a great list as well. So just push it all, go big, throw it straight in the middle. That's super fun to see as well. And then lastly, we've got one more 4-1 with Sebastian Costello with Skaven. Like I said, loving it. With Thankful Bow Ripper, Doomflayers, Storm Fiends, Warlock Giselles, Vermlord, Clan Rats, Night Runners. Very, very cool. Very cool in those dying moments of the stat show to check out some cool stuff. Okay, so Sons of Behemoth back, I think, yes. And I think also probably it's worth talking about the fact that we probably need to talk about Morbeg Knights as well. That's definitely a conversation that also should be up there. But the problem is we've had such a yo-yo with Flesh Eater Courts, going from really struggling to getting that battle scroll change, and now they're very, very effective because of the recursion change, which is going to be one of those things that probably makes or breaks many factions over the course of the Age of Sigmar Forge's life, where we see these small incremental changes, small changes which actually effectively turn an army's ability to work well on or off. Because we've seen that multiple times again, because there are so few rules located actually through the game. When you add an additional rule or take an additional rule away, that can really showcase just an army being much better or much worse, which I think is going to be something we just continuously see. Also, there's the evolving meta, the different armies, waiting for people to produce more armies as well. Things like Gargants as well. Just seeing them put on the table and people finally pushing them at the enemy and people struggling to deal with them is, a decision that people are making after 8 months of the game being out, and it's working for them. We've seen it over multiple different countries, which is interesting to see. So what do we think of the results so far over this weekend? I think it's cool. I think there's some fun stuff there. There's quite a lot of diversity in the different armies that are able to play well, and even some different diversity across different lists, with armies of renown also coming into effect and being effective, which is nice to see. Even if they're not hitting the 5-0 mark, they're hitting that 4-1 and they're having a good time, which is great. Okay, cool. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thanks very much for watching. If you do like it, please do like, comment, subscribe, or join the Patreon for the Honest Wargamer. That would be cool. Thanks very much. See you soon.